and welcome back to Trekyards Mission Briefing, your dose of weekly Star Trek discussion, analysis, theorization, first look, and even review at anything from the broad Star Trek multiverse. We look at a lot of stuff here, and hopefully show you a lot of things that you have not seen before. And I think that is the case in today's episode. So Stuart, what are we doing? How are you? And give us a spiel about Starfleet battles again, because that's an every week thing.
Yes. Human. Today, we're going to be talking about another Starfleet battleship. Now, Starfleet Battles is a tabletop game, in case you didn't know. It's a battle simulator that was created in the 60s and 70s, and it's fun to play. You got little miniatures, you got little cardboard cutouts, and you're playing a hex grid, and it's a battle simulator. You get to SSD with your ship stuff, and your weapons, and you got to figure it all out. There's an energy allocation form between each sentence, turn. Anyway, it's fun. You get to battle simulate and with Star Trek ships. So that's what it is.
And kick your brother's ass and stuff, because you play it as a family.
Wow. He usually kicks my ass. Perfectly honest with you, because he cheats and he's a Romulan all the time with plasma torpedoes. But anyway, we won't get into that. But today is a good day for that, because the Gorn that we're going to be looking at today, we're going to be looking at the Gorn Dreadnought cruiser.
Ooh.
And this, I can't recall if this has a class name. If it does, I forget it. It would be some kind of reptile name, I'm sure. But this is good because they also have plasma torpedoes. So to square off a Romulan against the Gorn, they fight quite often, apparently, in the history of Starfleet battles, because they share borders. So plasma torpedo against plasma torpedo. So here we go. This is the Gorn Dreadnought cruiser, guys.
Okay. So the Gorn are interesting.
The Gorn are interesting.
Because in the original 60s version, we got like blinky lights. That was their ship. And then in Remastered, we got this very, very bizarre ship designed by Mike and Denise Okuda, I recall. I've never liked that design. Ever. It doesn't say Gorn to me. It's always interesting. Yeah. But you shouldn't define a race by their green equal green ships. I mean, those sorts of basic connections. But you would think a lizard species that's cold-blooded and all these things would find its way into the design somehow. So, that said, the Klingons, 4 head ridges aren't in the design of the Klingon ships. The reds aren't. It's a tricky thing. How's a ship defined by its things? So you can't judge a ship by its cover or by its race. So I look at this ship and I don't see any reptilian. I don't see any beast. I don't see any of that stuff. But that shouldn't be levered upon something when it doesn't conform to everything else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So as an original concept, I quite like it. I think it's got wings, it's got engines, it's got a very. I feel like this design must be influenced by the Federation, given how similar the Saucer is. The Saucer is like at least 50% similar to a Constitution class, and since we had the NX-01 first, with almost identical deflector, these guys must have been looking at our technology and helped develop, because that's too many similarities to be a coincidence. And if Pacific Tier 1 is canon, those engines are very much Pacific Tier 1 engines, so they must have been looking at that take too.
The problem is, this came out before all of those things. Even this render that was done by Adam Turner is older than all those things.
Apart from the NX-01.
No, this would be older than that, probably.
It says 2012 at the top, so.
Oh, does it?
NX-01 2004. So,
wow,
2001.
Wow, if you look at the mega hex little squares that have the actual picture of the ship, that looks exactly like the deflector, and those have been around since the 80s. So,
but I'm trying.
I would say that the NX-01.
Stuart.
I don't care. The NX-01, I think, ripped off this. It's been around longer, and there's miniatures of this as well.
Let's bring Doug on.
Doug,
Doug, you ripped off a Gorn Dreadnought carrier from the 80s. Like, what? What?
Anywho, so yeah, this is it's a neat ship. One of the things that stands out to me on this, and it's on the wingtips, they're little circles. Those are actually plasma torpedo launchers, but they swivel, so they actually can be aimed by turning. So that's an interesting feature that I thought I'd at least point out.
Yeah. Well, I want to know, what do you think of my thoughts, though?
Sure. I don't think the Gorn stole the NX-01 design by any means, but we didn't encounter them until Arena, which was TOS, so they already had these ships. So,
was that our first? No. Was that our actual first encounter with them then?
Yep.
But
And
I mean,
then after that, they quickly became friends of the Federation.
Yay!
And actually became allies.
But there's the whole thing about the TOS Romulan ship being based on a Connie because of the white hull and all that stuff. That's a big theory and stuff, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. But people say that. So I guess if you take away the parallel development scheme, then if you take all that away, then it's about as advanced as a Connie, but more armor. I mean, it's got separate pieces. Yeah, it's more armored because you've got dedicated components. Those white raised sections. It's like saying these are where some very important parts are. So let's armor them up. But I do like those engines. They're very obviously similar warp parallel development stuff, but they don't need Bassards in the same way. I like they've got this back part. It's like we're forming the warp drive bubble in a different way. Maybe we can slow down faster. They're reverse thrust. Not there's thrust in engines, but it implies other technological things. So that's my favourite thing. Those engines are quite unique.
Yeah, the engines are very cool, and Adam Turner did a great job again. They kind of have if you go to the next picture, they kind of have like a Futurama vibe, like a retro sci-fi vibe with the rings around the back of the engines, which is neat. I mean, I think it looks cool, and it almost looks like really hot blue or white flame coming out the back.
Yeah,
that's just how it's stylized.
Yeah.
But a cool looking ship for sure.
And just to point out, if you look at the top, and again, I love how things parallel other things. There's only a certain number of designs you can do. Eventually, you'll repeat things. But at the top of the top nacelle, you can see those little second cowling, which looks like a JJ prize from 09, that raised piece. Well, what's your thought about this design then, and its different design elements? I mean, your sort of.
I've always liked the Gorn design. It's simplistic. And this is one of the bigger ships, so the back part's elongated. Some of the smaller cruisers have like 2 circles and maybe 1 engine on top, sometimes 2, depending on which class it is. So there's this you see the same design elements throughout all the Gorn ships, but again, they're all very different as they they change it up for each class ship size, which is nice. And we'll look at more of those in future episodes, I'm sure. So
cool.
We've already done the B-10. We've just done the Dominator class by the Andromedans.
Yep.
So I thought, why not do another Dreadnought cruiser?
Compare the fleet. It's certainly reasonably unique, but it's also very this is in the same way the Constitution class is. You can sketch an angle and it's obviously familiar. You can tell what it is. This has the same. It's so simple that when you sketch, it's like, oh, that's obviously a Gorn ship. But again, I can't help but come back to it doesn't link to what I think of a Gorn being. I would have made it more pointy. I would have given it, linking it to the. But that could imply though that this Gorn race, while looking like what we would consider alligator sort of creatures, whatever, lizards. They've never used that as part of their technology because they are an advanced, sophisticated culture that just happens to look like beasts. Now that said, a great example of that is the Voth from Voyager. They were descendants of dinosaurs. Their ships don't like dinosaurs. What a stupid statement! Look like a dinosaur. I mean that they at least they certainly have that more advanced look than this. But this is obviously different. This is a TOS era ship. So. If you think about it, though, there are actually some similarities. The greys, the silvers, the different detailing. That's actually surprisingly consistent in more of a way. So maybe that's an indication. But although I don't think this is a ship of a Gorn from Enterprise, like the full-on beast warrior. This is a ship of a TOS human with Gorn face, sort of. A more conventional person, because those are beasts in Enterprise. They're much bigger. They got more claws. I mean, it's
supposed to be the same thing. They're just reimagined, which is stupid. They're not a separate race, but I see what you mean.
Yeah, this feels more like a TOS rather than if you're redoing it for Enterprise. Because I don't think this is not the direction that would have gone for Enterprise. Well, that said, like the Orions, they've got really pointy, stabby green ships. That's what you just don't think Gorns would be. But they're slave traders, yet they have pointy ships. So I mean, what do we say about design? I don't know. I'm rambling, but I'm just trying to prove a point of doesn't look Gorn, but what is Gorn? We have no idea. It's cool.
Next picture. Yeah, you can't say a ship is a certain species or race just by the way it looks. I think that's silly. Why would our human ships look the way they do? Anyway, this is the bottom shot. Again, you can see more of the swivel-mounted plasma torpedo launchers.
Ooh.
There's a big main one on the bottom there that can
Ouch.
swivel to each side. So yeah.
So that's their primary weapon then, plasma torpedoes. They're going full on plasma.
No, they have phasers as well.
Okay. Well, I see
They have
phasers.
phasers.
Oh yeah, actually. Wow, there's a lot
torpedoes. Yeah, there are lots.
And was this a coincidence? They have almost identical phasable turrets to humans, or is that parallel development?
All the races in Starfleet battles have basically the same ball turrets. It's
Okay.
it's a technology that's a technology.
Okay.
It's just yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Huh.
But yeah, they I think they actually got their plasma torpedo design from the Romulans early on because, like I said, they share borders and they do tangle quite a bit. So I believe they stole their plasma technology from the Romulans. But
I do like the
anyway,
Annex 1 style deflector though. It actually really works this design.
yeah, it suits it very much.
It's that retro 60s, but it has all the glowing elements like the engines. The engines are very glowy, but in a really actually quite clever way. That's a parallel. I almost wish though that they'd had more glowy elements throughout the hull, like visible impulse engines, visible other plasma conduit things. I think this ship needs the CG treatment of a post TOS, or Intermo Darkly it or NX01 it. Let's see it as if you were not limited to TOS simplicity. Give us more glowies, give us more hull detail. I'd love to see this same design brought into a more modern era.
I disagree.
Cool. Yeah.
Let's go on to the next shot. It's from the front. I like the simplistic nature of it, and I do, I love the writing on the hull. I don't know what that says. It's Gornese, but
Is that really a thing? Is it called Gornies?
no, I just made that.
Oh, that's a good name though.
But yeah, so I don't know if that's a registry number or a name or both because there's a dot in the middle. So maybe one's a name, one's a number. I don't know. It looks cool.
Yeah. So I've no idea about scale. I mean, is that bridge module the same as a Federation bridge module? It's not super huge, but it's still reasonably sized.
Hard to say.
Yeah.
I couldn't really tell you. I'm
Again,
sorry.
no windows. That's weird. Just like
Yeah.
and Andromedans.
Yeah. Well, if you go to the next picture, I doubt that very much that bridge module is the same as the Federation, because it's for the simple fact that it's a Gorn ship. It might not have the bridge on the top. That might not be the bridge. The bridge might be the thing in the middle of the spine back there. It could also be in the middle of the saucer. Who knows? I mean, I'd have to look at the SSD to find out where roughly the bridge is located.
Yes.
Which I don't have in front of me, unfortunately. So
No. I'm wondering something. If you go to the next picture, actually, it's easier to see. So obviously, each of these plasma turret launcher things are big red things. There's 4 other big red things in the middle of the wings. Is that like plasma storer devices, things that channel plasma through the neck, go into the storage, they then get channeled into the wing to allow buffers? I mean, if you're charging plasma, you have to have several different charging matrices. You can't just, some sort of safety measure, especially if you've got 4 different guns or multiple different guns. I mean, you could link the plasma, and then maybe the middle gun at the bottom needs all 4 to channel plasma, or the other ones can channel individually. So you kind of got, because I mean, if you want quick recharging, 4 different buffers to allow for multiple firing.
could be. I don't know about storing plasma that far away from the launcher, though. Seems kind of odd.
I mean, I see. For
I
me,
mean, it does have launchers underneath that are
Yeah.
closer to those, but there are 4, so there are 4 on the top there.
because I'm visualizing this the size of a Connie-ish, so that wouldn't be a huge distance.
I think it's bigger than a Connie.
Yeah.
Dreadnoughts.
But as you said in other episodes, the Gorn Dreadnought is just a smidge bigger, and in fact, this is
Federation class, yeah.
This is a long ship, especially since it's, a lot of it's being practically used space. I mean, look at obviously it's not as deep as maybe a Connie secondary hull, but certainly widening a lot more stuff in that back end.
Well, if we go to the next picture, you just got a shot of it from the bottom. You get to see the bottom engine, which is very similar to the top engine. Nothing really new to add there. And the next picture is another shot from the back, which shows off a lot of detail on those engines.
Mm.
And I really like the retroness of those engines.
Mhm.
I think that's just most of it is Adam Turner's interpretation of it, I believe. But I mean, it looks fantastic. So again, thank you to Adam Turner for doing these renders and letting us use them.
Yeah.
On the back of the wings, you can see what appears to be impulse engines.
Yes.
So
Cool.
there's the impulse engines on this thing, which is nice.
And I was going to say no visible shuttle bay.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, not every ship is a shuttle bay. Why would you?
Mm.
Beaming is very important. That's what we need necessarily
Yeah.
for some things. Cool.
The next shot is just another nice 3/4 shot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really new to add there. But if you go to the next picture, this is it actually battling against. This is called the sinking of the Reptilicon. I believe it's the name of the picture. And the Romulans are kicking the crap out of it. But you can see it launched a plasma torpedo of its own. It's got a green one going there. This isn't the same class. This isn't a Dreadnought class. This is one of the smaller cruiser classes.
Yeah.
Which is quite comparable to like a Constitution class. But you'll notice on this one, the wings have blue things, and there's 6 of them on the top instead of red and 4. But
Okay. Yeah, definitely less good design. I mean, this is like... I'm not even going to comment how not amazing that design is, but that's okay.
well, just a more simple version of it. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you go to the next picture, this is the Dominator. This is the Dreadnought class, not the Dominator, but this is the Gorn Dreadnought facing off
Hissy shot
against
as well.
Yeah, facing off against some other ships. You got the Conzinti or the Hydron. No, is it the Lyrians or the Conzinti at the back there? Can't remember. You got the Romulan Vulture class, which is an older style Dreadnought, and you've got the little Klingon. Can't remember the number of that one. God, I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot of ships here going on.
And a Federation ship that's like an egg, like a Jupiter 2 style, with 4 phases at the front. That's cool.
Yeah, it's got a unique shape to it for sure.
Yeah.
So,
see, this shot is great. That ship looks fun.
yeah,
It's
I've got a
powerful.
folder on it too. We'll be able to do it someday.
I meant the one we're talking about though specifically.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it looks good there.
And again, the plasma launchers can generate different size plasmas, so different strengths. Even something called a pseudoplasma, which is a fake plasma torpedo, which is actually a good idea because it's like a decoy. You shoot it at the enemy ship, they fire their phasers at it to take the hit damage that they're going to take down, and then it hits them and doesn't do anything. So they just wasted their phasers. They need to recharge, and that's when you attack. So that's what a pseudoplasma torpedo does. So there you go, guys. Anyway, that's it, I think, for the Gorn Dreadnought. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I mean, I love looking at the Starfleet Battles designs. There's lots more to come.
I'm not
only
surprised.
one more in this series, I think, because we're only doing 4 this month.
We liked themed months.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
But eventually we'll cover more.
Yeah, this is a cool one. I think this is my very favourite of the 3 so far. I mean, again, when you reach these sorts of random alien races, I mean, a lot of the ships in Enterprise and Voyager don't necessarily look Star Trek. I mean, what's a looking at it? But it certainly has that TOS feel. It was clearly built of an era where those ideas were the prevalent ones. You know, having those soft shapes. I guess wings like a D7. You know, not obviously like, but in the same vein, or just like Romulan. I mean, this is another design style. In fact, it's quite a cool little combination of like a D7 and a TOS, and you know, all the different sort of combinations, which is actually works quite well. So yeah, I like it.
And I love the Gorn in game. The fact that they have plasma torpedoes, which are one of the most powerful weapons. So they're a great species to play and to fight against. So anyway, that's it for this Gorn look.
Cool.
Hopefully you liked it. And if you did, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss anything, because we release daily content and really cool stuff.
Sometimes.
And, well, yeah, we try. But you can help our show out by
Yes.
going to trekyards.com and clicking the donate button, or clicking the Patreon link in the description below, because all that helps us, do this and bring this cool stuff to you that you might not have seen or you've heard about, but now you get to learn a little bit more about, and hopefully we'll do full episodes on these ships at some point too.
Yeah, should be good. So thanks guys for watching, and until next week, next time, here on Trekyards, I am Commander Cookins.
I'm still Captain Foley.
Yes, you are. Bye guys.